Hi, I want to show you how I'm harvesting some valerian seeds and why I'm harvesting some valerian seeds. So my name is Emmeline and I'm growing foods and herbs. I'm basically learning how to grow them, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I believe we're going into more of a agricultural future. So the more we can learn about basically what we can grow ourselves, the more we can be self-reliant, but also we can be super happy, because being in connection to the earth and to plants is one of the most sane things that we can do with our time, and it's becoming a huge hobby for me, beyond so many other things. So I'm really keen to show you something that I have been doing today. So, well, as I say doing, I mean there's not a lot to do, but there is something to show you. So this valerian plant here, if you can see, it's got these little flowers that have started to go to seed. So there's a seed there. If I hold it in the wind, you can just about see it. Yeah. And when they're going, I was but basically when I got the valerian, I didn't realize how big it would get. Can you see how big? Whoa. And I got the valerian because valerian is it's related to the spikenard, so that's a super interesting herb, isn't it? Which was used as an anointing oil for people who were going into death and dying. That's an ancient oil, yeah. So it basically comes from this family of herbs which are used as a relaxant. You could use it as a kind of not, I wouldn't say PTSD, but maybe anything which is nervous related. So that's why it's used for sleep. It's really good for cats, apparently, for relaxing cats. As if cats are like some crazy animal. Relax that cat. I mean, so far we've not had any cat eat it, and apparently they do. So I don't know if they're just being super polite. They can sometimes come through here and just like, I posted a picture of a cat that was crawling through here the other day. Yeah, so they're from this family who are renowned for being this kind of a sedative type herb, so very good for the nerves. And when I got it, it was about this big, so it's grown a huge amount. And they say that it spreads like wildfire. So I mean, that's a great thing to spread like wildfire, right? Something that's peacefully grounding. The flowers smell amazing and they attract loads of bees. And as you can see, it's been next to my other vegetables and herbs. And I've had barely any slugs or insects eat anything. And you can tell that they do go close, because there's like little bits that they do eat bits of, which is a good sign, because you want to have organic, fresh plants which are naturally desired by insects, because insects are the drivers of everything on this planet. It's said that if we lose a significant amount of insects, it's always a sign of extinction. And we noticed recently that if I'm 29, so if you're any age, I don't know how far it goes back, but I remember as a child when my parents were driving the car, you would see on the windscreen wipers where the insects have gathered and then were then killed brutally by the windscreen wiper, and at the bottom of the windscreen wiper you'd see all of the dead insects. I was remarking on the fact a couple of years ago, I don't know how I suddenly realised this, but I suddenly realised when I'm driving, I'm not having the same experience that my mum experienced with insects, and I don't see them gathering on the windscreen. And then I realised that there are so many less insects out there now. So that's hugely effective for growing your own plants. Just the other day I was speaking to my mum, and she told me that she tried to plant some, beans on her flat windowsill, and they wouldn't grow because no insects would come and pollinate the flowers. So basically it wouldn't fertilize, but it wasn't fertilized. Is that the word? Pollinate. It wasn't pollinated because no insects came. So, and then we were talking about you can self-pollinate, but that is like what you do when an animal is extinct and you have to help them rebreed by artificial means. That's a sign of potentially what's to come. It's a bit late now, so we just have to steward what we can and build these paradise homes where we honour nature truly, truly. I'm halfway through a documentary called Inhabit, which is a permaculture perspective, and I really recommend it. Did you know that agriculture, the word agriculture, agri means soil and culture means diversity. So agriculture means the diversity of soil. Soil is actually the greatest value on planet Earth. And I'm pretty into this stuff, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that about soil, the meaning of agriculture. And understanding the value of soil is something I'm just starting to do. So the amount of people a lot of us who don't understand that, we're losing the fertility of soil. We're actually losing life, the fertility of life, completely. That's not to say it won't be reborn, but it probably won't be you or I. And for the sake of having a great life, I really want to give something back to the earth and to other people. So I want to diversify with soil, and I want to know the soil. I want to have my fingers stained by the soil. I want to feel and be one with the soil, because that is what some tribes and people who are still rooted to the land globally are doing. So it's a tried and tested and well worked out method of a good and honest livelihood that gives to the earth and works with the cycles. So back to the Valerian. Gosh, the Valerian consciousness has a lot to say. So the Valerian is almost the height of a human. And it's loving taking, so all of the insects flock to the Valerian and don't flock so much to the others. Don't kill your insects. Really value them and honour them. I don't use any pesticides. If I see green fly, I just remove them with my fingers. Some of them might die actually in the process of that, that's true. But it's not putting in chemicals into the soil which can then permeate and last for a lifetime. And we've got that going on in America with Roundup. So we have to be very careful not to do that and contaminate our soils. So, but the Valerian seeds, there's a perfect one. You can see one in there. So basically, I'm going to take a few more now, and then I'm putting them on I have a dehydrator because I do a lot of raw cooking, a lot of raw fooding. And then I'm going to put it in the dehydrator just because it is a little bit moist outside from some rain. We've had a lot of rainy clouds. Yeah, and then you can pop it in there for a few hours at a low temperature, and then after a few, there you go, you can see the garden. After a few hours, I can take it out, put it in an envelope, mark the date on which I harvested these gorgeous seeds, and then should anything happen to this beloved plant, then I have these seeds that I can then replant. When we move house, we can then replant it if the plant somehow doesn't survive. And then what you do with valerian is you harvest the roots. So you can actually, I haven't tried this and don't know enough about it, but you can eat the leaves. So have a research. It's said that they would eat the leaves at times of hardship when they were low on food. Yeah, so you cultivate the roots. I'm yet to do that. And you dry them out in the dehydrator or grind them to a powder as well when they're dry. And then you use that in your teas. So that is where I'm at with the valerian. Thank you for watching, and do let me know if you get a valerian or if you have one and what your experiences are with it. Any uses and tips for growing it. Would love to hear from you and your own adventures. Thank you. Bye.